Welcome to the FizzBuzz tutorial series, presented by Burris Consulting Group. I'm your host, Jonathan Burris. In this series, we look at the infamous FizzBuzz programming interview test. Sometimes, even the best programmers are tripped up by the simplest of tasks. We spend much of our time solving complex problems, and we often slip up when it comes to basic tasks. Writing code isn't the only thing that makes a good software engineer. Speed, efficiency, readability, and many other factors go into a delivered product. This FizzBuzz test is often used by companies when proving a programmer's ability to do what they're saying they can do. Why do I need to know FizzBuzz? According to one internet source, the FizzBuzz test is an interview question designed to help filter out the 99.5% of programming job candidates who can't seem to program their way out of a wet paper bag. That may seem harsh, but this is often the perception of the interviewer. I've been interviewing candidates since 1994. I've also been interviewed many times. I've created sets of interview questions for the various positions I'm recruiting for, and I've had developers ace my questions and the interview only to learn that what they knew in principle they could not put into practice. While I don't do an actual coding test like FizzBuzz with my candidates, I do like to see examples of code from them. The FizzBuzz test forces a candidate to put his money where his mouth is, to put up or shut up. Whether you're a candidate or an interviewer, understanding FizzBuzz and its purposes can greatly benefit your next engagement. What is FizzBuzz? Write a program that prints the numbers from 1 to 100. For multiples of 3, print the number and fizz. For the multiples of 5, print the number and the word buzz. For the numbers which are multiples of both 3 and 5, print the number and the words fizz, buzz together. Let's review the logic and flow. We need to iterate through the numbers 1 to 100. We need to do 3 checks. Firstly, we need to check if the number is a multiple of 3 and 5. We find the first multiple of 3 and 5, and we do that by multiplying those two numbers together and getting the number 15. And simply, we're going to check and see if the number is a multiple of 15. If the number is divisible by 15, we're going to print n and FizzBuzz, where n is the current number. Now, notice we have this one first, even though we had it last in our instructions. We have to check for this one first because if we check for the number 15 or anything that is divisible by 15 and we do the 3 or 5 check first, it will never fall through. So the result will be incorrect. This is one of the flaws of, or one of the reasons why people fail the test. Secondly, if the number is divisible by 3, we need to print the number n and fizz. Next, we're going to check and see if it falls through those tests. Then we're going to check and see if it's divisible by 5. We'll print n buzz. And then lastly, if none of those criteria are met, we're simply going to print the number. In order to successfully complete our test, we need to have an understanding of the modulo or the modulus operator. The modulus operator computes the remainder that results from performing division. This can be used to determine if a number is a multiple, a factor, or divisible by another number. If the result or the remainder is 0, then the number is a factor of the number it was divided by. An example is 15 is divisible by 3 and 5, so if we divided by 15 by either 3, we'd get 0 because the remainder would be 0, we get an even number of 5, and if we divide 15 by 5, we get a number of 3 with no remainder, and so we know that that is a factor of those numbers. Remember that there may be multiple ways of solving the FizzBuzz problem in any given programming language. And in most cases, there are multiple ways to solve the problem. And there's really 2 ways to approach it. First, using the KISS principle, keep it simple, and secondly, to show off. Either way, remember to keep it clean and readable. Also, sometimes showing off may actually cause you to come across arrogant or cocky. And if you have the time, perhaps you can demonstrate it multiple ways.